You know, I've got some of the articles that you've written that make the point. Dear Don Lemon, you're not God. Mr. President, why bother sending our kids back to school? California now wants to teach counter-genocide to over 6 million students in its public schools. Signs of Orwellian times, the Equality Act and the abolition of women. I mean, these are things that you're writing about weekly in Washington Times. Tell us what makes Don Lemon not God, and what did he say that makes you think that he thought he was?
Well, he goes on The View the week before Easter, if I remember the time frame correctly, and he tells everybody, the world watching, that Christianity, the church, needs to re-examine its 2,000-year tradition and teachings on sexual fidelity, sexual dignity, and sexual morality. Well, I'm not sure where Don Lemon got his theology degree and where he got all of his ecclesiastical wisdom. But, you know, I'm going to go with the wisdom of the ages. I'm going to go with the lessons of history. I'm going to go with the Apostle Peter, Paul, James, and Jude. I'm going to go with Jesus himself, who said in the book of Revelation, outside are the dogs, those who practice what? Sexual immorality and deception. And Mr. Lemon, it sure seems like your words are deceptive, i.e. deception, and it sure seems like you think you should be able to engage in sexual license rather than sexual fidelity and the 2,000-year standard of sexual morality. Mr. Lemon, you're not God. I'm going to go with Jesus on this one.
No, that's a great point. And unfortunately, as those words were written, there was a Roman Empire that dominated the planet. And that Roman Empire, it didn't last. It fell from foolishness and depravity. And unfortunately, I think that's one more of our lessons of history that we're facing here in America.
Well, again, this is a repeat, but there was an old president, a retired president from a college, I think it was Earlham. He was once asked, what's the secret to a successful leadership, a successful college presidency? He said 3 things: repetition, repetition, repetition. So I'm going to repeat. We know that the Roman Empire fell because of internal depravity. We know that when you lose your moorings, when there's no measuring rod outside of those things being measured, when your culture no longer has a truth as the judge, as the referee, to blow the whistle on the game, that you're going to implode and that you will become subject to the rule of the gang. David Horowitz tells us of that in his intellectual autobiography, Left Illusions. Horowitz was part of the Black Panthers in the 60s. He was kind of their intellectual machine behind the scenes, helping them write things, helping them craft their message. Now, what led Horowitz from being a Black Panther as a young guy to a conservative talking head, an icon today? It was because he woke up one day and realized that his ideas were leading to violence, to vengeance, and actual murder of one of his best friends. And he, at that time, acknowledged, confessed, if you will, repented, if you will, not necessarily in the Christian sense, but intellectually, he repented of the sin of allowing culture and celebrating the fact that culture would be ruled by the gang. In other words, the gang made him terrified, and he was part of that gang, and he recognized that if they're going to kill my best friend, they'll kill me. And this is what has led to the intellectual conversion of some other liberals of our time, such as Dave Rubin and others. This is what led Thomas Sowell to recognize that he was wrong in his Marxist days, and now he embraces freedom and capitalism. It's this acknowledgement that history tells us that the rule of the gang will crush all dissent, but that won't end there, because then that chaos of the gang needs to be controlled by something, and it's going to be controlled by the rule of one, the tyrant.